could not be explained by the Asperger diagnosis. People with Asperger's generally are not violent, don't have mood swings, hallucinations. So I was evaluated yet again, and even though they considered a few options like ADHD or schizophrenia, bipolar was the consensus that my doctors came to. And of course, the major hallmark of bipolar is the mood swings. And with the mood swings, I would be happy when I was supposed to be sad, and sad when I was supposed to be happy. When I was in the sad mood, nothing could lift me up. And when I was in the happy mood, nothing could bring me down. And this made things quite interesting for Mr. Lockwood when his other student that had bipolar, and we were both manic, running around, playing the llama song over and over. It was quite a lot for him. I have noticed that stick 2 or more people with bipolar disorder together, and their happy and sad swings will actually sync together, interestingly enough. That's what I've noticed. But that's the hallmark of bipolar, but similar to Asperger's, there is a lot of lesser known bipolar symptoms. And one of them is hallucinations. Now, I mentioned before that I love animals. I'm in the Animal Outreach Club at my school. And what I hallucinate most frequently is animals. And this led to some of my problems with driving, which I'll talk about later, because my parents were initially, didn't want me to take driver lessons because they were afraid that I would hallucinate a cat in the middle of the road and swerve to avoid it. And aside from the visual hallucinations of animals, I also had auditory hallucinations of sometimes my name in high-pitched voices, other times I would hear something like a car crash. And even sometimes I would hear normal noises at times where I shouldn't have, like hearing my alarm clock in the middle of science class, or hearing my community college clock tower, you know, the ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, while I was at home. But I came to find a way to kind of deal with hallucinations by having this policy. If it didn't make sense, it didn't exist. So if I was in the school cafeteria and all of a sudden I saw a dog sitting there next to me, that doesn't make sense. So I would just go back to eating my sandwich and not worry about it. But of course, there was one incident where I thought something was a hallucination. And well, here's the story. I was sitting in my English class in my freshman year of high school, and I was hearing my name in a faint whisper, Melanie, Melanie, Melanie. And I thought, well, I must just be hallucinating. But either way, I told my one-on-one aide about it, and she said that she would keep an ear out for it too. So the next couple days it continued, and well, we figured out why. Well, it turned out that the boy that sits in back of me has a crush on me, and he was whispering my name, and I wasn't hallucinating. But, you know, bipolar symptoms, they're pretty treatable. I'm on medication for them. I take lamotrigine, lithium, and clozapine. Now let me address something real quick. A lot of people say that Asperger's isn't real because they think it's just an excuse to sell pills. You don't take pills for Asperger's. Anyone that does is taking it because they have another mental health issue that goes along with it. And you know, a lot of people say bad things about these drugs. And I had some pretty adverse side effects myself. The most bizarre one is when a pill gave me all of the symptoms of pregnancy. So I had morning sickness, gained weight. I was even lactating at one point. And that was bizarre, I admit, and I still haven't been able to get the weight off. But you know, throughout all the trials and errors with my medication, the years of trying to see which would work and which wouldn't, and my hospitalizations so that I could be watched in a safe environment to see if they do work, it really all worked out in the end as far as my medication. And as far as the hospital where I was watched, there at the hospital, Four Winds Hospital, the staff there did everything they could for me to accommodate my developmental disability. In fact, because I needed a private room, as my mom was saying, there was one night where I had to be admitted, and they had nothing, and they moved around everything, changed everybody's room, changed hundreds of pairs of sheets, so that I could have a private room at the hospital. But, of course, there were so many staff people that understood me. The first time that I had my first hospitalization, I was very, very much suicidal. I was very heavily bullied, had a lot of issues, and I just felt like there was absolutely no other way out, that I had to kill myself. And when I was there on that children 12 and under unit, one staff person, whose name I don't even remember, but her words will be with me forever, talked me out of committing suicide. I'll never forget what she did that day. And of course, the staff there let me keep a diary, which helped. And perhaps my favorite staff person at Four Winds Hospital was Rabbi Jonathan, the chaplain. Rabbi Jonathan absolutely loved me and did his best to make sure that I was comfortable at the hospital. For example, one of my favorite holidays is a Jewish holiday called Purim. And one of the things that we do on Purim is eat a triangular, fruit-filled cookie that we call a hamantashen. And Rabbi John, usually at this hospital, you're not allowed to bring a patient sweets. But this chaplain convinced them to make an exception to that rule by saying that the cookies were a religious requirement. Well, it's not like he was lying. And of course, the staff starts asking him questions on how to ration the cookies. But besides the cookies, he would also give me dreidels on Hanukkah. They would let us come in with our electric menorah. They would let me teach the other patients dreidel. Even though there was a rule against gambling games, they alleviated that just by teaching the patients how to play dreidel. And he even came with me, he brought me a challah, which is a traditional Jewish egg bread that you're supposed to eat on Fridays. And I still see Rabbi Jonathan. When I go to the hospital, I'm always able to point in visiting him. Now, the hospital that I had my stays in for my mental health issues was always a good one, but there's another hospital that I should probably talk to you about for one specific reason. That hospital is Sunnyview Rehabilitation Hospital. And I need to mention it because that's where I had my driving lessons. With the driving lessons, my parents were hesitant. Besides my hallucinations, they were also hesitant because with the Asperger's, I have trouble with visual processing issues. For instance, I can't ride escalators because of my visual processing. I can't tell when to step on or off. But, you know, the local vocational rehabilitation was paying for my driver's lessons, and we decided to give it a shot. And it turned out to be a complete disaster, and I'll tell you why. The first few driving lessons were kind of okay, really. But I started my driving lessons in the middle of the fall, and as I mentioned before, I tend to take instructions very literally. So we were out on the road, and my instructor was telling me that I need to avoid the piles of leaves. Well, okay. Then the next time we were out, I saw the piles of leaves, tried to avoid them, but I almost hit somebody's dog. Luckily, there were dual controls on the car, so the instructor was able to jump in and save that poor dog's life. But you know, as I've told you my story about my challenges and how I triumphed over them, there's one really more thing that I need to say before closing. And that is the fact that having these two disorders together really does make a difference. First of all, it's caused sort of an identity problem for me. It's caused an identity problem because I consider my disabilities a part of my identity, but I wouldn't really know who I would fit in with. The Asperger side of things, I had a wonderful, wonderful program called Aspire New York. Aspire New York was a recreation group for teens and young adults on the autism spectrum. And in Aspire, I was the alpha female, so to speak. I was very often the leader of the group, and they were my kindred spirits. And I felt so great with them. We would do board game night, we had Halloween and Hanukkah parties, bus trips, theater shows. But unfortunately, Aspire New York had to fall under due to money issues. And after Aspire New York ended, I didn't really have a place for my Asperger social needs. And I started to wonder which one of my disabilities I really should identify with more. Then I came to the conclusion that they both affect me equally, therefore they're both a part of my identity and I shouldn't worry about it. And having a dual diagnosis did lead me to have trouble getting benefits because the developmental disability system didn't want to take me because I was in the mental health system and had such heavy-duty drugs. But we're working on that because I believe that no youth should have to fall through the cracks like I did. No youth should have to choose between two parts of themselves. If you asked me to choose between being Jewish or American, I wouldn't be able to choose. I can't choose between Asperger's or bipolar either. I'm not going to stop fighting for the future where people can get the services they need despite the fact that they might have more than one condition, that they might be seen as being too complicated. I don't care if I'm too complicated. I just believe that everybody deserves to get the benefits they're entitled to. Okay, we have some time for questions here. Anyone? Yes?
Yeah, thank you both very much. This has been fascinating. The this whole issue, I mean, I think you really nailed something when you said you can't identify with one group and not the other. Both of them are part of it.
Yes.
And I think that's something, I mean, that indicates to me, I mean, you've got a level of maturity about that that's pretty impressive. I mean, because it's something that at age 19, people are struggling to figure out who they are still. And you, I mean, you know, you, because of your experiences, you've had to mature in ways that many of your peers haven't. And that's a credit both to you and to your family for supporting that. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes?
First, let me say you're an amazing speaker. Second is, how do you feel about exercise? Does that make you feel good or not?
It does. In fact, when I'm stressed, one of my coping strategies is to go out on my bike. So yes, I go out on my bike, I ride my bike to my old elementary school, I watch the kids play on the playground for a little while, then I ride my bike back home. Or sometimes if I have a longer ride, I'll go to Village Hall and back.
And how do you do with I mean, do you have bike paths or do you ride in the street?
I just ride in the street.
And you do fine with that?
Yeah.
But we live in a village. When I said it takes a village, we literally
Yes.
live in a little village.
Yes.
So she can do that from our house, but not too much further.
Yes?
I would say I'm so impressed with your public speaking skills, and thank you for sharing your story. It's amazing.
I'd love to do it.
I can tell. I also want to ask, when you look forward, you have a lot of time ahead of you. You're in college, you have goals. What's your vision of what your future holds?
I have two different paths I might go down. The first is trying to pursue a higher up path in youth power. Maybe get a promotion to a full-time position sometime in the future. But if that doesn't work, because I was hired for a very specific project, I'm only going to really be in this particular position for 4 years. Because, you know, it's a 4-year project. And how it works is we have 12 counties in what we call a cohort at a time. These are 12 counties that we're trying to implement the system of care philosophy in. And I never really explained exactly what I do in it. I'm a coordinator where we have 3 people within youth power, full-timers. They're the ones that go out to these counties and help them with how to engage youth. And I coordinate those 3 people with the rest of the team that we call the New York State Success Team. And the New York State Success Team has a lot of different people. We have a social marketer, an evaluator, a family coordinator, a cultural competence coordinator. We're pretty diverse.
It's a federal grant.
It's a SAMHSA grant.
But what happens if you don't get that?
If I don't have that future with youth power, after I finish up my community college, I'm going to transfer into a program. My degree will be from Cazenovia College in New York, but the program itself is on the community college campus. So I wouldn't have to leave in order to get my bachelor's. It appeals to me very much. And after that, I'll probably go into generalist social work.
That's a good degree to have.
Yes?
Can you differentiate between good-natured teasing and malicious teasing?
Oh, I'd be happy to. An interesting thing about being bullied is that even though my mom said that there wasn't bullying at my last high school, Bethlehem High School, she wasn't exactly right. There was no real outright bullying, like, no one likes you, go away, you're off. But people did try to coerce me into saying things that, if I wasn't thinking, would come back to bite me later, or would make fun of me behind my back. But, as for the light teasing, yeah, I get that too. But it doesn't really bother me because it's not malicious intent. In fact, I kind of have this policy. If somebody isn't malicious toward me, I won't not like them. And that's because how many people in my life that were malicious toward me, like in middle school, on the school bus, where people would kick me, and then nobody would believe me because the cameras were turned off. Yes?
You are an excellent speaker, as we're all telling you. But I wanted to let you know something else. The comments you made about how difficult it was for making friends in high school, how hard it was for you. It's hard for everyone. It's very hard for everyone. And all of those people that picked on you and said all of those mean things, it was just as hard for them. And they just didn't know how to tell you. And that's why they did what they did.
Well, actually, one particular story that I have in high school, my freshman year of high school, I had been forced out of Shalimon and then to go to Shaker. And I was in gym class, and I was running around the track, and I just broke down and started crying. And this other girl walks up to me and tries to calm me down. And we're friends for a little while, but then all of a sudden she mysteriously stops talking to me. And I'm wondering why the heck this is. So I go to her best friend and I interrogate her, and she eventually tells me why. She says that somebody walked up to this person and said, "Melanie is the wrong person to hang out with. She will ruin your image."
So you do understand then what happens to all the poor teenagers. And it continues to happen, doesn't
And
it?
when we got into college, and I ran into her again at community college, she pretended not to know me when I walked up to her. And I think the reason why is because she was embarrassed of how she treated me in high school.
We all hope to grow out of it someday. A lot of people don't.
Okay. Any other questions?
I want to thank you and your parents for sharing your story